Welcome to the Daily Dish with New York Times bestselling author Leanne Ely. Putting vibrancy back into your everyday life and feeding your heart, mind, body, and soul. Join us every day at 1 p.m. Eastern for Motivational Monday, Tuesday's Tip, Wise Woman's Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Food Fight Friday, and of course Q&A, where no question is off limits, and Soulful Saturday. Here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
We're here. It's Saturday. Yoo-hoo! Hi, Noreen, Doris, and hi, Helen. First ones in the house. Good to see you all. Thanks so much for showing up and being here to say good afternoon. Hi, Melissa, you too. So good to see you. There's my girl, Carla, checking in from Kentucky. So how's everybody's day going? Juanita, how is your Saturday going? Christine, I'm so glad you're all here. It's a busy day at my house. I'll tell you, 2 dogs going crazy on each other. You've seen my personal Facebook page. You've seen some pretty adorable pictures. I've just put them all out there. Oh, good. Good to see you, Debbie, Jerry, Martha. Good to see you. Kathy, Amy, and Jane also in the house. Good to see all of you. Today we're kind of wrapping up our Thought Week. There's my girl, Joanne. Always good to see Joanne. And we're going to talk about cycling through those negative thoughts and how that loop is a stuck loop. You know, we don't want that. Right, Marty? We don't want that. Get some stuff done, 2 dogs. It's my dog, and then my son is here visiting with his dog, and his dog is well-trained, is a total love, but, you know, he's 95 pounds, a big dog. And my little dog thinks that, you know, he's a piranha, you know, and it's just constant. Anyway, but it's funny. And then I get like just done with it all. How do you like that? There's my girl Jackie and Jocelyn and Mary. Good to see you all. So good to have you here. So I have been enjoying that, but I just, you know, you can probably tell I'm just a little tired. So, and I require a lot of sleep. I'm high maintenance that way. I'm looking forward to Full Bloom too, Christine. I'm just so excited that you're here. Andrea's here too as well. I'm so glad she's here. Yeah, Full Bloom it's on, you know, a week from today, we will not be here doing this show. We're going to be in the middle of Full Bloom. We'll probably be right at lunchtime right about now. Isn't that exciting? So I'm really thrilled about Full Bloom, and I've been getting, you know, I'm having snippets of time to be able to get this ready, and I'm going to be probably taking most of Tuesday off just to finish up all the critical mass of everything, because I'm telling you, you know, you understand this. It's like when you have something big that you're talking about, or something, a big presentation at work or a test or something like that. It's really, really, you know, it's on your mind all the time, all the entire time. And so I'm really excited about it. Ooh, good, Mary. I'm glad you're registering. Listen, don't register soon. Register now. This is what I was going to tell you, everybody. We're down to the scraps of the Full Bloom bags, the little swag bags that we're sending in the mail to everyone. It's pretty much, we're getting toward the end of it, number 1. Number 2, it's next Saturday. So you want your swag bag in time? It's time to get signed up. And I'm going to just push you right now. Push. Today's the day. Go to savingdinner.com/bloom. No more excuses. Get on it. Get on it. We're going to have a nice full house. We're going to have a great time of connection. And it's just everything. It's just everything. Donna says I need a nap. She's right. Thanks for recognizing that, Donna. I really do need a nap. We have several things. First of all, where is it? Beauty Support's flying out the door. I want you to get it. Beauty Support is going to help you create your own collagen. And it's a structural protein. It's also a beauty protein. Makes your skin lovely, but it also helps with your bones. Did you know you have more collagen in your bones than you do calcium? How about that? Everything, it requires it. So check it out. It is our supplement of the week. With it, you're also going to get our Cook Once, Eat Twice volumes. It's a $37 value, 50 recipes there. So you'll love that. savingdinner.com/show. Always, 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 always. And setting up an environment for success is one of the ways we move the needles in our lives, right? Because there's more than one needle. It's not just the needle that's between your toes. You guys know that, right? Yeah, you know that. So here, what do you need to do? You need to make sure that you've got things that are looking at you and you're looking at that support that vibrant life that you want to live. We have this thing called the quote deck, and the quote deck is just, every single day you can put a new quote out on your little stand like this on your desk so that you can have things staring at you like this. There's beauty in everything, just not everybody sees it. Maybe that's a quote that sings to your heart. I call them cosmic 2x4s because I really believe that there are times when we need that, because it not only just goes, ooh, great quote, but it resonates right down into your heart, mind, body, and soul. Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off your goal. True. They go on and on. Old keys won't open new doors. And guess what? That's our quote of the week. Old keys don't open new doors ever. And it's one of my favorite quotes. As the other one that I really love, of course, too, is little hinges swing big doors. Our quote decks are available at savingdinner.com/quote. I want you to have one. I really do. And if you buy two, you'll get shipping free. It really is the only thing that we ship free. I also have another thing to help set up your environment and to trigger you into doing the things that you want to do to get you that vibrant life that you want. And that's our vibrant, it really is a vibrant, mindful mug. You can find out all about them at savingdinner.com/mug. The post will tell you why, how, and how to use it so that you can stay mindful. It will also tell you how to buy it or get it for free. It's all right there at savingdinner.com/mug. And I believe I now have told you absolutely everything, haven't I? Oh, one thing, question for Fridays, send them in to support at savingdinner.com. Question for Leanne on Friday. And also one other thing. If you want some gorgeous swag that's beyond the swag bag that you've got in the mail and you're going to go to, well, you don't even have to, but if you want to, vicariously live through it and get some really cute swag, find it at savingdinner.com/pop. There's flip-flops there. There's a little cosmetic bag. There's a bunch of really cool stuff. And I'm on pins and needles waiting for mine. I'm supposed to be here any day now. Maybe it'll come today. Today we're going to be talking about cycling through that negative thinking. Have you noticed that when we get into this negative thinking and cycle through it, what we're talking about is that negative leap, right? That negative loop. Everybody knows about the negative loop. I've talked about the negative loop endlessly. Like a Mobius strip. Remember Mobius strips? I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I want to talk about this in how it affects you, your heart, mind, body, and soul, because our beautiful selves, the least nurtured of our bodies and of our whole lives, is that part of us that is really our higher self, the one that is connected with God. It is our intuition. It is our knowing. It is our empathy. It's the beautiful part of us that is so connected with God and also connects with others and also is able to grow and to mature in such a way that gives us our wisdom. That's my belief. That's my belief. Your design and wording came off your mug. I'm going to bet you put it in the dishwasher. You're not supposed to do that, Andrea. Sorry about that. Write in and let's see what we can do about that. So this is one of the main things that I really want to emphasize for you, because if we are going to go to the place of starting to really dump that negative thinking, and not just so that we say, I'm going to think this instead of that, but really get rid of that negative loop, then we've got to start looking at how deep rooted it is. Because if it's deep rooted, it is damaging your soul. I believe that. I believe that it leaves an imprint. It keeps us in this place of feeling not enough, right? That we're not enough, that we don't have the stuff that it takes. We are helpless. We're victims, not victors. And I want to take you through this because I believe that there comes a time when we kind of get addicted to these negative cycles. It's the thing that we get addicted. But I did a deeper dive on all of this. And you know what I found? I found that it is, yeah, there is some addiction that's there, but there's also the brain is trying to figure out a different ending. Have you ever seen a movie where they have alternative endings? I know they do this, and I have never seen a movie where they say, oh, that was alternative ending number 3 or 4. They get together, they don't, or she moves away, or he gets killed in a car accident, whatever. They have alternative endings to stories. Well, our brains do this. They want an alternative ending. Didn't like how that one happened. So let's think through it again. Let's suffer through it again. Think the whole scenario through, and maybe we can come up with a different ending. Well, that's what psychologists believe. We all want a better outcome. We all want happy endings. This is one of the reasons why I don't watch action movies. And even though I know that they're going to end up with a happy ending, for me, it's just tough stuff getting there. It's suffering to get there. Puts me on high alert. Cortisol levels are going, bonkers. But we don't need to do this. This attempt to re-script what happened in our lives, it puts us on hold. And so we hold on to this because we're trying to figure it out. And we also hold on to it because we're trying to figure out how to let it go. Isn't that ironic? I think that, but that's how the human brain operates, not necessarily from the place of logic, but from the place of trying to make things work out. It just means everything. It means everything. It means that, we are hopeful that we can work this thing out. We are somehow putting a lot of credence in the fact that if we think through this just a little bit, maybe we'll get to that place where it will finally get worked out. Even though if we were to stand back and say, hey, brain, I got news for you. That happened in the past. But see, remember something about our brains. Our brains do not understand the difference between a vision and the difference between what's actually happening. So if you're emoting and putting a lot of pressure and a lot of emotion and feeling and what have you into retelling this over and over again in your brain, you're reliving it. Your brain doesn't know that it's not happening again. Your brain isn't sitting there going, oh, come on, Leanne, that's not happening again. It's going, okay, here we go again. Remember the story about the pianist? I gave that to you earlier this week. They did brain scans on a pianist, a pianist playing and emoting and just really feeling that piece of music. They did a brain scan on him. And then they did another one of a pianist thinking about playing that same piece and what it would feel like and all of that. You've seen pianists, they really do feel their music. Same exact brain scan. So we don't know the difference, but you and I do. We have to remember that our brains are merely organs in our bodies. If we decide to run the show, then they don't. We get to. Let that land, because this is an important part of this whole equation of getting rid of this negative thinking. It's like, hold up a minute, time out. You don't run the show, I do. Because who you are is heart, mind, body, soul. You're not just a brain. The brain is merely an organ. It does your thinking for you, but you get to manipulate and choose the direction of the thinking because you're heart, mind, body, and soul. Isn't that incredible? I love that. I love that. Lucy just said, let's run our own shows. She's exactly right. Let's run our own shows. Sitting on the couch thinking about my workout probably won't be the same. Maybe in my brain, but not in my booty. That's exactly right. But you want to hear something interesting, Sarah? And they've done so many studies on this that your body will still secrete the same chemicals as if you were working out. Yes, Jane's right. Same with practicing free throws. You can always tell whenever we're watching basketball. Mark and I are watching basketball. Do you know how upset I get when I see somebody miss a free throw? I say they shouldn't be missing that. They should have. And they always tell you your stats on missing these free throws. And when I see somebody who hasn't got a very good stats on free throws, I always think of Michael Jordan. How much time did he spend on those free throws? That's what we need to be doing. And constant practice, and also practicing the emoting, practicing what it all feels like, so that we can come to this place of letting it go. We can come to this place of letting it go when we recognize and understand what everything is all about. We're trying to go for a better outcome. I get it. Don't we all want a better outcome? Don't you hate movies? Or I shouldn't say hate movies, but when you have watched a movie where it doesn't have a good outcome, doesn't that make you sad? It does me. It makes me sad. And then I'm thinking about it all the time. What would it be different? We're no different. This is how that whole thing works. So we hold on to figure it out, and we also hold on to figure out how to let it go. That's why we hold on to these dumb stories. Instead of taking out the experience, putting it into the experience file, and allowing that lesson to teach us the lesson that we need for our lives so that we can move on. That's what we do instead. So I, of course, am going to always encourage you to do that and discard the rest. Because going through and over and over and over again is doing nothing for you. The things that we want on repeat are the good habits that we want in our lives, the good thoughts that we want in our lives, the climb toward excellency, the path toward vibrancy. That's what all this does. And this also, by the way, is one of the reasons why we procrastinate from doing something. It's also one of the reasons why we avoid confrontation, because we don't want that pain anymore. We're trying to avoid the pain. We're trying to re-script it in our the negativity in our heads. We're trying to re-script it. We're trying to figure out a different ending. Well, and it's one of the reasons why this behavior comes around. We want to avoid any kind of pain. That's what procrastination is. It's delayed decisions, of course. And I always say that constipation, if you read Body Clutter, I said constipation is the ultimate body's way of procrastinating. True. But we can get past all of this, totally past all of this, anytime we make a decision that is enough. Seriously, that is enough. And I want to also mention too, that we can hold on to this negative stuff so much so that not only do we not want to let it go, but we become addicted to it. Addicted. There's body chemicals are always coming out, right? And thoughts produce them. The way we move our bodies produce them. I mean, it's really interesting how there's like chemical reaction after chemical reaction happening in our bodies at all times. So if you want to feel good, you know how to feel good, right? Go do some jumping jacks or something. That's going to get the serotonin and the dopamine flying. Yay. Makes you feel good. Endorphins. Go endorphins. That's my team. I'm team endorphin all the way. Let's make it happen. But when we do that, we also can get wrapped up and even past, there is a thing of being past the point of addiction to that becomes your identity. That becomes your identity. This is one of the reasons why, and I'm going to say this is personal. This is my personal opinion. So don't climb down my throat. One of the reasons I like some of AA's stuff, but I don't like this. Hi, my name is Leanne, and I am an addict. I am an alcoholic or whatever. And then everybody says hello. I understand what they're trying to do, but I also don't. Why would we want to underscore and underpin that kind of identity? I think that in and of itself is an ID problem. I really do. That's just my personal opinion, and we're all entitled to them, just like we're all entitled to having belly buttons. Amen. So to give up this negative ruminating means that you're sometimes asking somebody to give up their identity, because their identity is so wrapped up in that negative loop. So if this rings true for you, if anybody is going, yikes, you're talking about me, right? If that is the case, there are ways that we can stop this. I mean, it's one thing to break up with negative thoughts, like an abusive boyfriend. We talked about that yesterday. But it's another thing when you're on repeat. When you're on repeat, you think, yeah, no, I got to get rid of this. And then, Suddenly it's just like, how come this isn't happening? It's not happening because of the addiction. It's not happening because not only are you addicted to that thinking, but that becomes your identity. And I don't want you standing up and saying, hi, I'm Leanne and I'm addicted to this negative thought loop that I have. No, it doesn't need to be so. We can step into the life that we want to lead by simply declaring it. So by simply declaring it over and over and over again. When you get this negative loop, you have to go to something completely different. And that sounds so cinchy and so easy, but I really do have 5 things. And I'm going to take you through them all. And Jackie said, I'm talking about you. Jackie, honey, I'm going to give you a big hug when I see you because someday I know I'm going to see you. That's number 1. And number 2, I want you to write this stuff down. Okay, here we go. And if you can't, just look at the timestamp right now and come back to this and write this stuff down in your journal. These are your exercises for you. All right? That's because I love you. Here we go. Number 1, we need back to front thinking. Do you know what that means? Understand the anatomy of your brain. Your monkey brain is back here. It's basically a stem and it just keeps you alive. We have, that's the breathing, that's the heart beating, and that's just all the primitive stuff. We have to have back to front thinking. We know that when we start into this thing, that's the monkey brain going back to the same thing that they know. But remember we talked about knee-jerk thoughts? It's knee-jerk thoughts. But if we say, okay, there's that knee-jerk thought, let's replace it with this instead. And let's also process all of this. When we process, we go from the back all the way to the front. This is the prefrontal cortex. The hippocampus is in here. This is where all the high-minded, intelligent thinking gets done. This is where there's abstract thinking. This is where we can conceive and conceptualize. And if we allow ourselves to process, not in the monkey brain, but here, like, what if something was different? What if I did this instead? What if, this is what's going on? I'm aware now that this is a negativity loop that not only is going on in my life, but 1, I'm addicted to it, and 2, that's my identity. I don't want that anymore. That awareness of front to back thinking, or back to front thinking rather, is going to help you get to the place of dropping this like a hot potato. But there's more, of course, there's more. Let's go with that. Number 2, see the loop and acknowledge it. Oh, shoot, there it is again. Have you ever done this where you're just like, oh no, I'm doing it again, blah, 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 blah. And the whole, even the awareness of it is just as a negative as the negativity. But how about this instead? And I've got some things for you. Oh, I got caught again. There it is again. And laugh at it. Just go, oh, I'm so over this. This is so yesterday. That's so dumb. You know what's good? You know what's great? You know what's wonderful? Dwell on those things. Know a Bible verse that goes with that? Yes, you do. So we can just take that and start to flip it. And the other thing you can say is, look what I'm doing. This is great. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do this. And you're kind with yourself. You laugh about it. You write about it, unpack it a little bit and write about it. And then you know what you say? This is your I am statement. I am letting these things go. I am letting these things go. A little bit every day, a little bit more tomorrow, and every single day I'm going to be in the weeds. I am going to take this out. Have you ever had a garden that was just out of control? Were you able to get it under control in a day? No, you went out every single day. You put on your sun hat, you put on your garden gloves, you took your tools with you. Those weeds came out. Here comes the hoe, And then after you take those weeds out, then you got to scoop them up, put them in a wheelbarrow, and take them over to the compost pile. You got to get them out so they don't reseed and take over again. And then you don't just leave the field barren, right? You seed it with stuff you want. This is how our brains are. Exactly how our brains are. And if we understand and recognize that there's different processes in the brain and decide, make a decision. I'm not gonna think from the monkey brain anymore. I'm not a monkey. I'm a smart, wise, intelligent, vibrant woman. That's you. That is you. Acknowledge it, declare it, and keep going. You've got a project ahead of you, but that garden, when you are done taking out all those weeds and reseeding it with all the glorious flowers that you want, will fully bloom under your nurture and care. Promise. Promise. There's some work that needs to be done, but so what? We've got the days. Let's use our days for these things. Then number 3 is ask why in a constructive way, or ask in a constructive way. Here's what we do instead. This is it. And let me just say, you're not the only one. I found myself doing this last night. We always do this. Or not always, but sometimes a lot. This. Why me? How constructive is that? How helpful is that? What has it ever given to you? Why me is such a whiny baby thing. Why me? No. All right, let's drop that one. Can we agree, pinkies up, that just sucks the air out of the room, and it just makes you go, oh, come on, absolutely not. We're not going to do that anymore, right? How about this one? What if I let go of this negative loop? What if? What if? And what if with a smile? What if opens the door to possibilities? It is a new key for that new door. Exactly what it is. Got that? Write that one down. This is juicy, good, yummy stuff. So why in a constructive way is going to help you to reframe all of this stuff. And number 4 is to feel it and not think it. I'm going to tell you why. Because so often what happens is we rethink and we think and we think again, trying to re-script it, trying to create a new happy ending, because we're avoiding how we feel. And maybe if you really sat and felt all the feels that go with that whole negative loop, maybe you're going to sit down and cry in the bathtub for a few hours. So what? Let it out. Because sometimes I believe that connection between our minds and our hearts is a little broken. And that connects it together. It's okay to feel. We don't have to live there either. Remember that. Feelings and emotions, they come and they go. But when we avoid them, when we put them off and we push them away, and we don't do any of this work, and it is work, we think that we need to solve it. Sometimes it's just not solvable. We think that if we avoid it, then we don't have to look at it. No, that's not true. You know that. So you can sense how you feel, and you can acknowledge it, and you can move on. And then you can take some of the steps for number 2 that I talked about, being kind to yourself, maybe laughing, just saying, it's been going on for 40 years. It's ridiculous. I can let go of this. I'm not a tree. I'm not forced to stay here. I can move on, right? And then number 5, you're going to like this for my girls who are, and we have a few lovelies here. One of my favorite things to do. Kitchen's closed. Remember that? That's enough. That's enough. When we do things, use things, put things in our path, we start to change our mind. It's setting up your environment for success. It's also setting up your senses for success. That's enough. I do this with my dog. That's enough. Do it with yourself. Do it with yourself. It's startling. It wakes you up. It sets a new thing. It adds a new thing to the thought process. Let's do this. Can we agree to this? Can we pinky up on this one and say, that's enough? You're worth way more than that, aren't you? Yes, you are. Don't get me started on this. When we do this for the kitchen, we say, kitchen's closed. Right now, what we're doing when we say this, our minds are open. Got it? Our minds are open for the new thing. Let's get those pinkies up. There comes Debbie and Jocelyn. Yes. Lucy, still up. And number 6, this is the last one. What will I lose and what will I gain? If I hold on to this negative loop, this identity that I've made for myself, this addiction that I have to this negative loop, what am I going to lose if I decide to get rid of it? What will I gain if I get rid of it? These are important questions to ask because we don't oftentimes think about our thinking. We talked about that this week as well, didn't we? If we do this, then we have the ability to make a whole different choice and look at the buffet table of decisions. There's a whole bunch of them there. And they're so much better than the negative loop that you've been holding on to, that maybe has become your addiction, your go-to, your story that you tell yourself on why you can opt out of a vibrant life. I'm not going to let you do that. I want you to tell the truth about your identity. You know why? Because you're fearfully and wonderfully made, on purpose, for purpose. So does any of this negative loop, this identity, this addiction, these thoughts, these knee-jerk thoughts that lead to a whole way of life, do they fit? There's a real incongruency there. There's a real incongruency there. And part of this problem is not thinking you're enough, and not believing that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and not believing that your heart is held tenderly in the hands of the Father who loves you beyond anything we could even fathom. So I want you to think about all of this stuff. And, certainly if you want the show notes, don't forget to go to savingdinner.com and get signed up for them. They come every day, the day after the shows. And the last thing I want to say to you is you need to be at Full Bloom next Saturday. Next Saturday, this is just a taste of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be unpacking things. And I'm going to, right now, I'm going to do a couple of hot seats, meaning that you'll need to have the ability to come on camera. We're not going to play with a bunch of tech. If you don't have the ability to come on camera, then we're just going to let it go, because we have a short period of time. And we will tackle whatever it is that you need to tackle. And it's going to be a 5-minute thing. The clock will be on. But I want to make room and hold space for those of you who feel like you just need an extra touch. And if you know who you are, then I want you to just start thinking about that. I will have an intake form available, and we'll post it. We'll put it, whatever. But the whole point is I don't need a long explanation of all the things that are going on in your life. I don't need to know, from top to bottom. I don't need to know all that stuff. What I need to know is, where's the struggle right now? What do you need to work on? Let's work on it together. 5 minutes. A 5-minute fire hose. How's that? Okay. I love it. Lucy's going to the store was out of arugula, so she's moving on to another fear, the fear of radishes. So we'll pray for you, Lucy. We love you, Lucy. You know that. And I love you guys, all of you, every single one of you lovelies who are here, who show up, who support this small woman business, owned business for 20 years now, who are here because they want to live an excellent, vibrant life. And if that is you, I want to see you next week at Full Bloom, because I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to love your socks off next week. I am going to hold you up, and I'm holding a ton of space right now for every single one of you. You better believe our whole team is praying for you. This is a needle moving conference. And if you're not a part of it, now's the time. Go to savingdinner.com/bloom. Go get signed up. We are excited to help you out. All right. Thank you so much for showing up. And I hope that, I hope this meant something to you. If it did, then share it, for heaven's sakes. And if there's anything that I can ever do for you, you know what to do. Just send in an email to support@savingdinner.com. I'm there for you. Peace be with you. And I will see you on Monday. We're dark tomorrow. Don't forget. Have a fabulous weekend. Bye.
Thanks for watching. You can find us on YouTube on the Saving Dinner channel or on the Saving Dinner Facebook page. Check back daily for new episodes, Monday to Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you missed the live show, you can watch the replay. Until next time, pinkies up.